the Storehouse Media Group podcast. We're our host, Sherrie Price Clark of Storehouse Media. Hi, Sherrie. We have a very special guest today, don't we?
Hi, Neil. Yeah, we do. We really have a good special guest, and it's somebody I've been really looking forward to having on. A little backstory, you know how we love to go listen to live music, and we went to this place and saw this band called Hot as a Pepper, and lo and behold, its lead singer was Trilby Rose, and she's joining us today. Hi, Trilby. So good to have you.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So Trilby, when I saw her, I loved her voice. I loved her showmanship, but I knew she's young. And so I got to talking to her, and she is young. And we're going to talk a little bit more about, her, where she got to where she's at. But I thought it was awesome how she was the lead singer of this band, and they're a good band, Hot as a Pepper. So a little bit about her. She's a singer-songwriter from Greenville, South Carolina. And she can tell you where you can find her social media platforms. And Tribby, how did you get into music? I mean, you're so young to be with this band. How did all that happen?
So, from a young age, my parents really pushed me to try all things, whether it was sports, which didn't really work out, academics, which did kind of work out. But the thing that really stuck the most was music. I played violin. That was my first instrument from a very young age. I was up every morning practicing. I played piano, flute, guitar. I was in band throughout all of middle school. And then I funnily enough, I kind of put music aside for a little while, and then I pursued horse riding for a very long time. And then as that sort of ended, I needed something to fall back on and something to use as a coping mechanism because of some things that had happened. And songwriting became my biggest coping mechanism and my biggest way of finding myself and finding my place in life through songwriting. And then that translated onto on stage through opera because I started studying opera, and then that translated to being in a rock band, and it all kind of just came together. That's from a young age. It was always music, and I always kind of came back to it, even when I was focusing on different things.
Interesting. And I think that you knew it was a dream you wanted to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I remember a journal entry from when I was around 13 or so. I was a very young professional equestrian. And a journal entry I came across recently was like, I really feel like my heart is with music. I feel like I belong, in a room where there's music, whether it's on stage or writing music. And I just thought that was funny because it was like before I even knew that I had the ability to be on stage or sing, like it was always something that I just felt led back to. I always came back to it.
It's like it's part of your soul, right? You just
Very,
can't
very much so.
separate it from who you are, and I get that. That's why I love having like musicians and bands, because I feel that same connection that you do. But how old were you when you started with this band? Now they're a band that plays predominantly 80s music, Hot as a Pepper, right?
Yeah, we play like everything from 60s to like now, but mostly in like the 70s, 80s. Yeah. I was 17 when I started with them. I went out one weekend with my mom. I was like, okay, I really want to like join a band. And she was like, okay, well, the best way to do that is to get experience on stage that's not like singing opera. And so this local band, Hot as a Pepper, was kind enough to let me sing a few songs on their break. I sang 3 songs with them. And it just so happened that they were looking for a new frontwoman. And at first it was like, okay, well, you're 17, so it might not be the best choice to, be singing in just for everybody involved, it might not work out. But as we kind of played a few more shows together, I sat in for them while they were looking for a new front person, and it kind of like we all just clicked so well that I just started full time with them when I was 17.
And the
Unbelievable.
rest is
Were you
history.
nervous at first?
Honestly, no. I think the only time I was nervous was the very first time I sang with them because I had never sang with a full band before. But I always told myself like this is I've spent the majority of my life in some sort of spotlight, whether it was like when I was riding horses, I was always horse showing, so it was always in front of an audience. Um, and then as it translated on to being on stage, it was like, well, there's not too much of a difference here, and it's not quite as dangerous as jumping 3 feet, 4 feet on a horse. It's not quite as life risking. So being on stage really kind of felt like a relief, if anything else. It felt like a place where I could be 100% myself, where I could put my phone down and connect with humans face to face. It just felt like breathing. Not really, it felt right. Not too much stage fright.
Well, interesting in reading your bio is that you have played over 85 live shows, all while going to cosmetology school because you're a hairdresser too.
Yes, I am. I am on during the day, I'm like a hairstylist by day and then rock star by night. That's kind of what I've gone with. Um, yeah, and so I was in cosmetology school for about a year this past year, and over that year, I was doing, my 9 to 5 or 9 to 4:30 in school, and then I'd pretty much go straight from school either on stage or in the studio, and that was like, it was nonstop. It was kind of brutal, but like in a good way. It felt like I was working hard, and some time off since then from cosmetology school has been nice. But yeah, I played every single weekend, multiple shows through that whole year.
Wow. And that multitasking and that stuff now after school's over, so it's less work, you think, not being in school?
I think so. I think it just like it takes up less stress to not be a student. I've been a student since, I graduated high school and then went straight into cosmetology school. So, a lot of my peers are in, 4-year universities. So it is nice to be like, okay, I'm entering the adult world a little bit earlier, which it's kind of awkward, but definitely a lot less stress starting at a salon instead of being a full-time student every single day. That was very intense. And I'm very relieved to be finding my groove in the adult world.
Well, who would you consider to be your major influencers in music?
I would say a bit of an older artist. She's not talked about a ton these days. She was very popular in the 90s, but Ani DiFranco is one of my favorite artists of all time. I think everything that she stands for on stage, off of stage, really, really spoke to me. And her words, just like as a performer, she's so interactive. She's an incredible guitar player, incredible songwriter, just all around. And the most important thing to me with people that I look up to is how they use their platform. And I think she used it in a very, very, very smart way, to be an advocate, but to also connect with people, to start conversations. And then nowadays, like somebody who's a bit more in the spotlight now is Hayley Williams. She's the front woman for Paramore. So I really like seeing another powerful front person who really just like has incredible stagecraft and also uses her platform in an incredible way. Is very inspiring for me to watch. Honestly, anytime that there is a very powerful front woman that just has, it's so obvious that it's what they're meant to do. I'm very inspired by that. Like Gwen Stefani and No Doubt, Chappell Roan, she's just risen over the past couple years, or past, I think, year. Hayley Williams, Ani DiFranco, any of these powerful women, I really am very, very inspired by.
Wow. And now you're doing your own music, right? Your own originals?
I am. I'm this close to being done with my album that it's been something I've been working on since I joined Hot as a Pepper when I was 17. They had this original album that they were working on. Even though we play covers, they still are incredible musicians that have original music of their own. So it was kind of this collaborative project that they wanted to do original music. And when I came along, it was like, well, I really want to be in the studio and I really want to learn how to, use my voice in a studio session and that type of way. And so they were like, oh, all right, let's do vocals you can do vocals for our album. And then in exchange of being, you know, our front person and doing vocals, we will do your album and get your music recorded. And so through them, I found so much more than even just like honing my craft on stage. Like I found my entire album. Like I found my sound, and they just literally and genuinely out of the kindness of their heart, they were like, we will record your music and help you learn. And in such a creatively free way. They helped me, a very young person. I had like zero resources, like just build me up from the ground up. And it was very, very special.
Wow. What are your ultimate goals as a musician?
I want to reach as many people as I can on a deep level. I want to record music. I want this to be my livelihood. I want, as much as I love doing hair, I don't want being a hairdresser to be my full-time job. I want to be touring the world. I want to be, you know, making music that I love and connecting with an audience that, you know, wants to hear what I have to say, that wants to learn, that wants to connect. And I just want to make good music and connect with good people, make music with good people. I want to be a part of a ton of different bands. Anytime, like, it's so special when you're able to walk into a room with musicians and it's just like there's this understanding that, you know, this is what we do, even though it's hard and people are constantly telling us, you know, this, you know, you should do something like, you know, realistic, and it just makes you want to join a band with all of them. And so that's what I want to do. I've made it a bit less of it's very easy as a small artist to want as much fame as you can get. But I've really worked so hard to decenter that mindset for myself and be like, I don't have control over how big I get. Like I can work as hard as I can, take as many opportunities, but I just want to connect with people and make good music. And I think that that's all that I have control over. And so instead of chasing, you know, as much fame as I can, I just want to make good music.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I bet your parents are proud of you.
I hope so. I'm proud of them. They watched me go through a lot, and they've still supported me through everything. And I love them very, very much. And I think they're incredible parents, great people.
Well, that's awesome. Now they're even more proud of you. They're saying such wonderful things about them.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Trilby, how can people find you? You've got a lot of social media platforms going on, but what's a good way to get a hold of you?
So I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. My name is Trilby. That's Trilby. It's a weird name, but, you know, hopefully people get exposed to it and they get used to hearing it. Hopefully. So my username is just my name, Trilby, with a couple extra Y's on the end. It's very simple. And, you know, I have my green hair, so it's pretty hard to miss. I sing. My name's Trilby. I got green hair. That's me on all my social media platforms. And then when I release music, which will be very soon into the new year, it'll be under my name, Trilby, just Trilby. I figured I have a weird enough name to get by with just having one name.
Is Rose your last name or your middle name?
My middle name. Yeah. So thank you, Trilby Rose Allen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. We appreciate you coming by. For anything all about media marketing, go to storehousemediagroup.com. Appreciate it, Trilby. Thanks again, Sherrie. That was